Hey guys, and welcome back. And today we are talking about the Yashica FX-3. So hello again, and thank you for watching another video. Now today we are talking about the Yashica FX-3. I got this from a thrift store for $10, which I think is a pretty good deal. So I recently took it out to a street art festival. I put a roll of Tmax 400 in this, and I just wanted to see, one, if it worked, and then just test the quality. I did send this off to the darkroom actually, and got the cheap scans. I wasn't sure if the camera actually worked or not. I really enjoyed this camera. There's some things I like about it and some things I don't like about it. So first off, believe it or not, one of my favorite things about this little camera is the battery cover, which is on the bottom. It's actually a hard plastic instead of a metal battery cover, and it's a little deeper set than some other film cameras. So what I like about this is that it's easier to get it on and off. I don't have to worry about corrosion and everything like that, or rust, kind of setting that battery cover in there and not being able to remove it. So that's one of those little weird things that I actually was kind of happy about. It's got a cracked top frame, so right below the hot shoe, the frame is just kind of cracked around there. So I'll probably end up taking the top cover off and maybe put some glue under there or something, just because I don't want to have it break. This is a pretty fun camera, and I like that it's lightweight, it's compact, it's comparable in size to a Nikon FG, and just a little smaller than something like a Minolta X700. So it comes with a 50mm lens that's got a 2 to 16 f-stop. The minimum focusing distance for this lens is 0.5 meters or 1.75 feet. The shutter speeds go from bulb and then 1 all the way to 1/1000. The ASA is also located on that same shutter button, so you just pull up and rotate to set your ISO. Just off of that, you have your shutter, and then of course your film advance is right there as well. Downside to this camera is that the exposure check is actually located on the back side of the camera. So in order to check it, you compose your shot and bring it up. So here is what our viewfinder looks like. We have the split image and split prism focusing, so it's nice that you have both options, which helps you kind of pick up focus a little quicker and things like that. And then there it is. As I press that button, you see off to the side here, you have your plus, your minus, and then that dot. But to do that, I have to shove the back of my thumb into my face to press that button there below the film advance. So that is a little annoying. I'm not a huge fan of that. This is the FX3. After this, they had the FX3 Super and then the FX3 Super 2000. The difference is that the Super 2000 went up to 2000 shutter speed, and then I believe it was on the Super that they integrated the exposure check into the actual shutter. So it was, your traditional half press down is your exposure check, and then full press is the shutter. So this is the first model where they kind of messed that up. I wish it was similar to the Nikon FG in the fact that the FG has the shutter speed, has the shutter button, and has the film advance all into one little spot, which is really nice. It makes it a little more streamlined, but this doesn't quite have that. So this is a CL mount, so it shares the same bayonet style as the Contax, I believe, the Contax CY mount, if I'm not mistaken. The viewfinder is nice. It is a plastic body. The base plate is metal. The lens, it's almost a pancake style lens, so I really do enjoy that. It makes it a little bit more compact. It's a 50mm 2 lens. As you can see, it sticks out smaller. And if I put this side by side with a Nikon FG with a 28mm E-series lens, this lens is actually smaller than that as a 50mm 2, which is kind of nice. I did take off the leather on this camera. I think it was owned by a smoker previously, so it was just giving me a miserable headache. So I stripped it down. It's nice and clean. Now that I know it works, I'm actually going to re-leather this camera. I'm going to put a really cool finish on it, and I will do a video on that, I think, if it comes out well, and I'll show you guys that as well. The shutter curtain on this camera is metal. It's not your traditional fabric, and it does have a mirror lock up for flash sync and your bulb modes, and there is also a timer. It was produced in 1979 in Japan, and just like I said, it was followed up by the FX3 Super and then the FX3 Super 2000. And then lastly, battery wise, it does take 2 SR44 batteries. You thought I was gonna make coffee, didn't you? So I read a few different things on this. A lot of people like it for the same reasons I do, in that it's compact, it's lightweight, it's kind of cheap. and it's still got a good mount, and the glass is still nice. So it's a really great camera to just kind of have on you and not worry about. I have seen where people don't like the light meter just because it's not accurate, and that their photos were overexposed or things like that. I didn't notice anything too severe. I wasn't overly pleased with the light meter on this camera. I think it could have been a little bit better. It is center weighted, and then some of my shots were a little blown out in the background, but then I feel like most of them were a little bit underexposed. As I pull them up here on the side, you'll see that a lot of them are a little bit darker. I will say that I have a variable ND filter that fits this perfectly, and I actually used that on this camera just because, one, I wanted to see how that turned out, and then two, I wanted to keep it at a lower f-stop and kind of see what the depth of field was on this camera. So I kept everything between 2 and about 4, I believe, which is cool because I was able to have a lower f-stop. It's bad because I kept it at 2, so I had less room to play with my focus, so I did miss focus several times with this just because of people walking around and everything. I didn't set it up properly, and I was shooting a lower f-stop. I didn't give myself enough room to make sure I got focus. So looking at these shots, the exposure seems pretty good on a lot of them. I am going to shoot this again with a roll of color, and I'm not going to use an ND filter just because I want to see how that looks. Not the correct way to do it at all, but again, I wasn't sure if this camera was actually going to work, and I was just kind of playing around, so I figured I would just try it with the ND filter and see how it came out. It did help out in a few shots, like this one here actually would have been great, except for the fact that I had a little bit of light leak in there because another camera I did not reseal. So that actually would have been pretty cool. It's still not too bad. There is something on a lot of these shots through the center. Not sure if there's something on the film or if there's something on the back cover that just kind of got on a lot of these photos. Exposure wise though, they all look pretty decent. The highlights are a little bit crushed because of the ND filter, so that is to be expected. But as you can see, the photos are pretty clean. I'm not a huge fan of the grain of the Tmax 400. I prefer something more like the JCH 400, that kind of a thing. That's almost more of a infrared film. The Tmax 400 does have great contrast though, so that part I do like. I just don't like the grain for some reason. I'm just not a fan of it. So my thoughts on this camera. I like it. It is a plastic camera. It doesn't feel quite as heavy duty as some other cameras that I've played with, but I really like the size. I love that it's got a compact 15mm lens on it. I like that it's all black and white. I'm gonna re-leather it in something cool, and I'm gonna hang on to it. But yeah, it's a fun camera. It's nice, lightweight, compact. It's probably not going to be a main shooter, but it is a nice camera to have around. And if you come across Contax glass, it's a nice camera to have that to mount to. So that is going to wrap it up on the Yashica FX-3. A little bit shorter video, but I'm trying out some different styles. I just want to be able to get the information to you as quickly, as concisely as I can, while making sure it's interesting, and I don't want to waste your time. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, say hi, tell me what you like and didn't like, and I will see you in the next video.